Okay, this conversation comes up every single year, this time of year. Are we gonna get a September Nintendo Direct? Last year I said, duh. Obviously we're gonna get a Nintendo Direct in September. We get a Nintendo Direct every single September, but for a while, I did think this year may be different, and we'll talk about that as we get into this video, but I think we're okay. I think we are getting a September Nintendo Direct, and I think we're gonna get a lot of cool stuff there, especially things for The Legend of Zelda. Before we hop into this video, I do want to remind you guys that we do a podcast every week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The link is down below to that podcast. If you want to come over there and hang out with us on our other YouTube channel live while we record it, you can do that. If you want to listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts, you can also do that. The links are down below for all of it. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the other uploads. We upload pieces of the podcast, different things. Again, links are below. Now, let's get into this whole Direct thing. I really do think at this point, I was worried with the way that things went this summer. You know, E3 was canceled. We said at that point, we're still gonna get a Nintendo Direct around this time. They're still gonna show us all the things they wanna show us. They still have all kinds of things they have to tell us about through the year. Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime Remake, all these things that we thought we were getting that, I don't know. We didn't get either of those, but we got some stuff, but they didn't do it in a Direct. We didn't get a Direct. They just kind of did what they did during the pandemic year. They did the Twitter drops and the little things here, little things there, just kind of made it an ongoing thing, which ended up working out okay. We have a lot of stuff. This year's packed full of stuff, but honestly, I really think that we're gonna get a September Direct. And we have heard recently from Jeff Grubb. If you know who he is, you know that's a reputable source. Seems to know what he's talking about, a lot of this stuff. He is saying there is going to be a September Direct. Like I said, I was on the fence about it. I started thinking, you know, it's gonna be hard for them to not give us a Direct, not show us what's coming next year. And then, you know, hearing Jeff Grubb say that, really, for me, that's enough. I think we're gonna get it. And what's cool about that is, we even got a little bit, hopefully, if he's right, we got a little bit of a time frame. We know Splatoon 3 comes out on September 9th. So he's saying that after that, the week after that, is when we should see a September Direct, which sounds about right. Chances are we would see it on a Wednesday or a Thursday, not a Friday. We never get them on Fridays, but Wednesday or Thursday, that's usually when we get them. I would imagine we would see it at that point. But what I want to talk about in this video is not just the Direct. I don't want to talk about the rest of the games. I don't want to talk about anything else. I want to talk about one specific thing, and that is Zelda. As we know, and as I've said on this channel probably 100 times by now, Nintendo has told us, and they have given us no other reason to think that they aren't going to do this. We are getting a Zelda game every year. They want to put out a Zelda game every year, is what they said. And they've done that since 2017 when the Switch launched. We know Breath of the Wild 2 has been pushed to next year, so that's not the game we're getting this year. But we're coming up on the point in the year where if we don't hear something soon, we're not gonna get a Zelda game. But I think at this Direct, we're gonna hear some stuff about some Zelda. So I think, obviously, at a September Direct, they said we're gonna be getting Breath of the Wild 2 in what? Spring? Did they say spring? I think it was spring was the wording. Spring 2023. So March, April, May-ish, probably somewhere in those 3 months is when we're gonna get it. So September is probably a good time to really give us a lot of information about it. We don't have a date right now. We don't even have a name for this game. We don't have a name, we don't have a date. We barely have any information of what we're gonna be doing. We've had some trailers and they look cool. We've seen some of the new mechanics. We've seen some stuff, but nothing that's given us anything but really more questions. So in my opinion, I would say this is the time. We're gonna see a lot about Breath of the Wild 2 at a September Direct. It's a setup, it's a perfect setup. It gets us going into next year, get excited, then maybe sometime later next year, maybe early March, kind of like we did with Monster Hunter. When Monster Hunter Rise came out, I believe we had a Monster Hunter Direct a little bit before it. We just got the same thing with Splatoon. Like, this is something Nintendo does, especially with their bigger releases. And at this point, Splatoon 3, yeah, big release, but nowhere near what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to do for Nintendo. It's going to be massive. When you look at the Zelda franchise and what Breath of the Wild 1 did for Zelda, you're talking about a game in Twilight Princess that sold about 8 million copies. That was the highest selling Zelda game. Now you look at Breath of the Wild, you've got it at 23 million, I think. maybe more than that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's up there. The sequel to this game is going to be massive. You have to remember this. When Breath of the Wild came out, the Switch didn't have the base that it has now. There's over 130 million Switch units out there right now. A lot of people have Breath of the Wild. A lot of people are excited for Breath of the Wild 2. New Zelda fans. And there are a lot of new Zelda fans, and that's why I think we are going to get a Zelda game, an older one this year. We talked about this 100 times, but I really, really think it's Wind Waker. And Jeff Grubb, again, you know, we already talked about things he said. He said back, I believe in May, in an interview with, maybe it was Nintendo Life, that he knew that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were both coming to the Switch this year. Had no reason to think otherwise. I'm not sure if we'll get both. I hope we do. Twilight Princess is my favorite game, but I feel like Wind Waker is the one that's gonna come. Either way, good, both, either, or whatever. As long as we get one of them, I'm good. He says October. I don't know. That's possible. But this is something you also have to remember. That is a short window. If it was announced in September, at that point, mid-September, maybe even closer to late September, to be released in October, that's not a lot of lead up. But we did have Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That was announced on September 8th and was released November 20th. So September to November, that's a short window. I don't see why they couldn't do something like that again. I don't think we're going to see this game in November though. November right now is stacked. There are so many games coming out in November. We've got Pokemon, we've got Sonic. I don't even remember what, there's a ton of games. So that month is full. I mean, maybe late October, maybe, I don't know. There's stuff in October too. Maybe we get it in early December, but I do think they're still coming this year. I have not lost faith. We still have time. If we don't see them at a September Direct, at that point, I don't think we're gonna get anything. Obviously, that's about as late as they can go. This is pushing it to the limits with making an announcement. But guys, I just wanted to I wanted to make a quick video about this. Yeah, I think we're getting a September Direct. I think we're getting lots of Zelda. Let me know what you think about all that stuff down in the comments. Let me know what you think we will get at a September Direct, or if you think we're even getting a September Direct. Make sure you guys check the description down below. The links to the podcast are there. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.